Hey everyone, I just want to give you a prologue for this show because unfortunately the microphone that's on my desk, the track that we recorded, is unusable. So the microphone that we're going to hear all the audio through is the one that's only pointed at Matt, and it's like a flashlight, with these unidirectional microphones. It's mainly meant to just pick up whatever it's pointed at directly. So my audio is going to be kind of whack, but since it's episode 5 and we've never come up with a consistent audio solution for each shoot, I've decided to buy the sound device, and now it will never be an issue again. So I want to say big thank you to the patrons and big thank you to you for sticking around and suffering through the whack audio on this show. It's a great conversation. Matt's deck is so freaking cool, and I'm really excited for you to see it. So without further ado, please enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, from an undisclosed location in Portland, Oregon, the spare bedroom, it's time for MTG Tonight with your host, Jake Boss.
Tonight on the program, we are joined by my good friend Matt Ruecker, and we're going to be talking about Ulasht the Hate Seed, which is a weird Gruul combo deck. It's all kinds of things. We'll talk about it later. And we're going to be joined by the Basic Land Band, who's going to be taking us in and out of commercial break, which is really, of course, just 2 seconds of black. Now, without further ado, please welcome through the magic of television, Matt Ruecker. You made it.
Thank you.
You're here.
I am.
Your mustache came too.
Yep.
It's been fantastic to see you.
Twirled.
I haven't seen you in a hot minute because I've been filming shows, and actually I'm BSing you here because I saw you at the GP last weekend.
Why didn't you come up and say hello?
You were in the middle of a draft game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I did one. 4 to 6 hours of my time at GPs are crashing every single artist booth before they try and get their lunches in. Mark Titting is a huge artist influence for me and for Magic. I kind of started in the beginning of Magic, and he was prolific through the first 10 years of Magic.
Some of those, like Chaos Orb and Soul Ring, were just iconic for the game. And
absolutely.
They still hold up to this day. Like Emrakul Eon's Torn is the perfect example of how an old school Magic artist like that can evolve into something that's modern.
I don't think that there's anybody illustrating the game today or back then that could do tentacles better than Mark.
Yeah. And
weird runes and like the gray matter of your brain.
So you strike me as someone who doesn't typically play in a main event at a GP.
It has to be the right type of main event. When I came back to Magic and I did a GP for the first time, GP Portland 2014, it was team sealed limited, which was an awful format, but awfully fun. I had 2 of my best friends, one from the shop that we go to and one from high school, and we got our packs and opened it up and registered it all and passed it over to Owen Turtenwald and Reed Duke, and they went undefeated that day. And they passed us the biggest pile. We had Sliver Overlord and Sliver Hive with like 3 other slivers out of 6 packs.
See, you could have been Reed Duke.
No.
But here you are today, stuck on my show. Because they wouldn't let you on some other good Reed Duke show.
No.
Anyway. You said that you had gotten back into Magic, and you had also mentioned 7th edition. So when did this whole story start for you?
Oh, geez. I started playing Magic, I must have been 7 or 8. It was 95. And Fallen Empires had released shortly before that.
Ouch.
My grandma took me to a strip mall in Oregon City. She was after yarn or something, and I went to the local card store, comic store, browsing comics, browsing Marvel paraphernalia there in the early 90s. The person behind the counter cajoled me into buying 2 packs of Fallen Empires, and they were $1.50 each. I still remember getting those 2 packs home and cracking them up, and the smell, the feel, the art style for Fallen Empires and early Magic was just something that was so different than...
Especially with the thralls in that set.
Yeah, black, it was just
freaky stuff.
For kids, the ages, their target audience, 8 was probably a little young, but 8 to 14.
It's just like these abrasive images, like what you were saying about Mark's art.
Yeah.
Like just the grotesque, look at Garbage Pail Kids.
I remember Basil Thrall and Armor Thrall were in there. The Armor Thrall that has the crazy claws and blood streaks behind it. The colors thematically in the art definitely had different qualities.
Just the card frame alone. Like a green card with wood.
Yeah.
You know, or like a bubbling cauldron, something like that.
Yeah, the blacks all looked like bubbly mud on the sides.
If you guys haven't seen Magic Man Sam's video or Ristic Studies video about card frames, it's like an hour long.
I remember the very first foil that they came out with, and you could see them before you could buy the set. It was sort of previews that they did back in the days. The card shops got a preview card, and it was from Urza's Legacy. I think that Urza's Saga was my favorite set. That really got me into collecting as an activity. I have a set of Urza's Saga, Urza's Destiny, or Urza's Legacy and Urza's Destiny, and then I continued getting the binders and trying to create a full set.
Do you still have full sets of these?
For those 3 blocks, so Urza's, Mercadian Masks, and Apocalypse, I do have mostly full sets. In fact, I'm lucky enough to have all of the really expensive cards, and I'm missing like some rares and uncommons that I haven't TCG played yet. As I play and collect, I do the pre-release events, all the stuff that you see me at.
Yeah.
Keep those cards, trade for other ones.
Most of the time that we spend together. Pre-releases, it's like you get the whole band back together.
That's true, yeah.
Like it's like this holiday for all of us.
I'm glad that we got rid of the midnight release, because that was like go until 4 a.m. and then back at 9 a.m. to do the next day's one was pretty tough.
I mean, I kind of liked it. I kind of like the rush.
You are 25.
That's true. I like the rush of showing up, playing until you can't see straight, waking up in the morning and saying, "No, I'm good to drive."
Yeah.
And going to play some more. So what would you say it is that got you to say, "Hold on, I got to take a break from Magic," and kept you away for so long?
It was life. I went to college. World of Warcraft came out.
Oh.
Right in the vein. Magic is something that you can play online, but I wasn't hooking up to that if I had online time. And if you don't have that community of people that you're playing with, like even at our card shop, if Magic dried up, I wouldn't be going there.
Yeah.
It's all about the people that you're able to play against.
If it wasn't this, and say hobby board games didn't exist or something, I think we'd all go out on a Friday night and play Monopoly together if there was a shop that would keep us,
Yeah.
It's not so much about the creative language that you're speaking, it's just that you're speaking to each other for people like us.
That you've got something going. In the 90s, early 90s, when Magic came out, like 95, Magic had already been out for 2 years, and TCGs were business, and they proved it. And the market became flooded. They had everything. Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, Legend of the Five Rings, the High Seas, Jihad, Vampire Masquerade. There was just endless CCGs. It really doesn't matter exactly what you're playing, like you said. I knew people who still play Jihad every...
Really?
Yeah. Adam Lazar actually took my Giovanni deck so that he would have more cards to add to his Jihad collection so that he and friends from New York, when they came back to visit him, would be able to play.
Wow. Yeah, like my brother is coming over to my house tomorrow, and we used to play the Star Wars LCG. This is before I even played Magic. Yeah. And I'm going to introduce him to Magic because it was an easy transition for me, but it's just like this thing that we shared, he can share that with more than just me. He can share that with other people anywhere in this country.
Yeah, and it's got resources. It's got structure, me, you, phases that we go through and how we do things, that if you can learn another game, that game's parts and particulars is going to translate into Magic in some way because they stole it.
It's not just learning like untap, upkeep, draw. It's like, okay, how do I creatively get myself out of a situation while gaining the highest value out of my actions?
Well, I think that Richard Garfield, when he created that game, he wasn't trying to get people to count to 20, and he wasn't just trying to translate, a Dungeons and Dragons fantasy style. He was trying to get deep tactical decisions. Yeah. And if you played Keyforge, his new product from Fantasy Flight, its distribution model and its play model is you sit down with one deck, and that deck never changes because the back of the cards don't say Deckmaster on them. They say whatever that deck is.
Oh.
And that's interesting. But the gameplay is very similar to Magic, but it's refined quite a bit. Every single game goes back and forth, and the choices you make each turn are very tactical. But the basis of that game, you can see all the bones of Magic in it.
So when we come back, we're going to be talking about Matt's Ulasht the Hateseed deck. So don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial because we're going to be right back.
Sometimes it's like someone took a knife, baby, edgy and dull, and cut a 6-inch valley in the middle of my soul. At night I wake up with the sheets soaking wet and a freight train running through the middle of my head, only you. Early one morning while making the rounds, I took a shot of cocaine and I shot my woman down. I went right home and I went to bed. I stuffed that loving 44 beneath my head.
We are back, and we are joined by Matt Ruecker. So, we're talking about Ulasht the Hate Seed, a Gruul combo deck. So what is this deck? What's the commander? How do you win? Because you won our game that I played with this, but I still have no idea how.
Yeah, this deck, well, here's Ulasht. He enters play as a 0/0. He gets a number of +1/+1 counters added to his card when he enters the battlefield, equal to the number of other red and green creatures that you have. So count up your reds, count up your greens, not including himself. You can tell he's kind of an old card because he doesn't count himself.
So say I have a red-green creature, would that get counted twice?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you can pay 1, and you can remove a counter. You can choose to either create a 1/1 Saproling creature token, or you can deal 1 damage to target creature. Since it only costs 1 mana, if you can find a way to cycle those creatures in and out, then you have a kind of a bicycle wheel of creatures entering and exiting the battlefield. And what this deck does is, as opposed to many other combo decks, is many other combo decks will have 1, 2, or 3 combos in the deck, and they go find the pieces for those combos with plenty of draw and tutoring, and they try and protect those combos. But this deck was built specifically to not play Magic in that way. You play an unassuming commander like Ulasht, who people can read, okay, you make tokens, okay, you can shoot vulnerable people. And then you play another innocuous card, Ivy Lane Denizen, which is one of the important enter the battlefield effect cards in the deck.
So it's 3 and a green, Elf Warrior. Whenever another green creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, which is your bicycle.
Yeah, so you create your Saproling, removes the +1/+1 counter from Ulasht. The Saproling enters play, and you put the +1/+1 counter right back on Ulasht. Well, now you've created something where you are able to do that for however much mana you have. So now you just need a mana proposition like Ashnod's Altar or the newly released in Ultimate Masters Phyrexian Altar to create any color mana, and then you have infinite bodies coming in and out of the battlefield. And then how do you take care of that with being able to kill the board? And there's 3 cards in here that will kill people, kill the whole board of opponents with creatures entering the battlefield. We got Impact Tremors, Warpstorm Surge, and Perforos. And then for creatures exiting the battlefield, we have Rage Thrower, Stalking Vengeance, and Hissing Iguanar are all creatures that will either deal 2 damage to a target opponent, deal 1 damage to all opponents. Another card like Ivy Lane Denizen, but for creatures leaving the battlefield, is Death's Presence. Whenever a creature dies, you then take a number of +1/+1 counters equal to that creature's power and put them on any creature that you want. So
this
you
is
put
a
them
really
back on
clever
Ulasht.
strategy. You're just taking like this super common thing whenever a creature enters the battlefield or leaves the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
Like just things that cards say all the time.
Get them coming, get them going.
And 1/1 counters and stuff too.
You have sacrifice outlets so that you can then get that going. Thermopod, Utopium Icon, Goblin Bombardment, another sacrifice outlet. That then, if you're creating infinite bodies, you can throw those bodies down the hole to deal 1 damage. There's the Hissing Iguanar. Goblin Sharpshooter, again, every time it taps, it can Timmy a player or a creature, and whenever a creature dies, it untaps. So as long as you have creatures to throw down a hole and him out, you have your kill the whole board.
Twiddling back and forth.
Yep. Evolutionary Leap to throw creatures away, to find creatures that then turn into your combo. And Mirage Mirror is a great card because it becomes a duplicate of any of those things.
Second copy of any
card. Just about everything. So the deck has these mini combo potential, mini combo pieces in it. For some of those cards that will make it so that you put cards back, or put +1/+1 counters back onto Ulasht, or any other creature that you have. It's better when those creatures are bigger, and it's better for you generally when your horde creatures are bigger. And it's not just making Saprolings with this deck to activate combos. You can make Saprolings to go wide and have a horde deck. And so the other side of the deck is to create a large board. So you have some of the normal token creators, again, working with the combo. You have Doubling Season, Parallel Lives, Primal Vigor, and then Illusionist Bracers as an equipment that you put on Ulasht, so that every time you remove one counter, you're now making 2 Zapperling creatures. Or if you want, you can remove one and deal 1 damage twice.
Okay.
To 2 different creatures, doubling his activated ability.
So something here is scaring me, though.
Yeah.
One thing that I tend to ask my guests is what happens when I play Imprisoned in the Moon on Ulasht, and you don't have a commander anymore. There's no command zone. Mm-hmm. It's just a land that produces colorless.
Mm-hmm. I have several ways to go wide. We have Avenger of Zendikar, Siege Gang Commander, Chancellor of the Forge, Hornet Queen, and Wart the Raid Mother to create many tokens.
We're still taking advantage of that strategy of things entering the battlefield.
Yes, and you'll be able to create a massive horde with this if you want to switch gears. Krenko, the Goblin, is the other tribal synergy in the deck outside of simply Sapperlings.
Okay.
And there's only 1 card in here that cares about Sapperlings, 2 cards that care about Sapperlings specifically. Thelonite Druid, which creates ones when you flip it over from being morphed. And then newly from Dominaria, you have the Spore Crown Thallid.
Okay.
Makes all your funguses and Sapperlings +1/+1.
So tell me about these 2.
So with Mitotic Slime, it's a 4 colorless, 1 green, 4/4 creature. And when that creature dies, it creates 2 2/2 tokens.
Oh, so it's dividing itself.
And those 2/2 tokens, when they die, they create 2 1/1s each. And the deck runs 3 of the token doublers, Doubling Season, Primal Vigor. So with this 1 card, you can easily go blah, 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 16 guys.
Holy crap.
Yeah, with 1 sacrifice effect. And with some of those other cards I was showing you.
By the way, if you haven't picked up Doubling Season yet, grab it now.
Grab it now.
It's like $32.
It'll never be bad. Ogre Battle Driver and Into the Web of War do almost the same thing. Into the Web of War is a enchantment from Kamigawa, so one of those sets.
Yeah, it looks like Kamigawa.
It's definitely Kamigawa. I just don't know which one.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really. The whole block is Kamigawa.
Yeah. Just don't crack a pack of Kamigawa.
Whenever a creature enters play under your control, it gets +2/+0 and has haste until end of turn. And Ogre Battle Driver is that as a 3/3 creature. The deck also plays Cloudstone Curio. When creatures enter play, you can then bounce a creature back to your hand of your choice to then abuse enter the battlefield effects some more. So you can bounce back the Chancellor of the Forge and then play him again and get X number of goblins with haste equal to the number of guys that you have on the board, and do that as many times as you have mana for.
So have you considered something like Rings of Brighthearth too? Because this doesn't look like a budget deck. Like, I'm looking at a Gaia's Cradle.
The Gaia's Cradle isn't necessary. It just happens to be a card that I own, and it works very, very well. So when you resolve that, absolutely fantastic. But
it's like when you see a Jace the Mind Sculptor on the table. It's not because it's good in Commander.
Sure.
It's because I own a Jace, damn it.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it.
Yeah. Actually, with this deck, the much more damaging card for the table is Cryptolith Rites.
Oh, yeah.
So when you have something like this that gives everything
branches.
haste, you create your board of 16 guys, then you have 16 additional mana of any color that you want. So even when Ulash's commander tax is +10, +12, it costs 14 to cast. If you have the board to support it, you can throw people away to Ashnod's Altar and flop Ulash on the board with 12 creatures out, you can go off. Even having a massive commander tax.
See, that's what deck building is all about. Like, we need to pull ourselves back from building around just a commander or the one strategy or something like that and broaden our horizons just a little bit. But, Matt, I want to give you a big thank you for showing up today, because this deck, seriously, I'm going to spend my weekend brewing now, because this is inspiring, and I hope our viewers feel the same way about it. When we come back, we're going to be joined by the Basic Land Band, so please don't go anywhere. Don't skip ahead to any time codes, because we're going to be right back.
My baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure. But does she really?
Performing the theme song from Arthur, please welcome the Basic Land Band.
Every day when you're walking down the street, and everybody that you meet has an original point of view. And I said, hey, What a wonderful kind of day. We can learn to work and play, get along with each other. You gotta listen to your art, listen to the beat, listen to the rhythm of the street. Open up your eyes, open up your ears, get together and make shit better by working together. It's a simple message, and it comes from the heart, called believe in yourself, but that's the place to start. I'm gonna get by when the going gets rough. I'm gonna love life till I'm done growing up. And when I'm going down, I'll be going down swinging, my still smiling and my heart still singing. I'm gonna get by when the going gets rough. I'm gonna love life till I'm done growing up. And when I'm going down, I'll be going down swinging, my still smiling and my heart still singing. And I said, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. If we can learn to work and play and get along with each other. What a wonderful kind of day. If we can learn to work and play and get along with each other.
That's our show. Big thank you to Matt Ruecker for showing us his Ulasht deck, and big thank you to you for indulging me and watching my musical project tonight called The Basic Land Band. It's been a lot of fun, and I'll probably share some more stuff with you in the future. If you'd like to, please follow me on Twitter. I share a bunch of stuff like this cosplay, magic art stuff that I've been doing lately. It's a lot of fun. The cosplayers and the artists both do amazing work, and marrying them together feels really good. It's fun to see on screen. But please welcome one more time me, the Basic Land Band. Good night.
Our love only happens in your dreams after you wake up. Our love is a word on the tip of your tongue that you'll never speak. So do you remember when we first kissed? Neither do I. So what did I miss? We'll get married on the 31st of February. Our love is a word on the tip of your tongue that you'll never speak. And our love only happens in your dreams after you wake up. We only kiss in places we don't exist. Our hands are locked beyond your fingertips.